Alex has been practicing French on Duolingo at this job. Not any sort of other people speak other languages because he might not have to read Fancy Nancy. So Fancy Nancy wants to go to France, and she does the like stories. And she speaks, there's certain words that Fancy Nancy likes to say because words in French also mean Nancy. That's what she says. That's
the
a
fanciest
quote.
language, yeah.
That's according to Fancy Nancy.
We did not read Fancy Nancy.
I didn't think you probably had, but I've had to. And then they turned it into like a cartoon. So she's Fancy Nancy deeply into tennis. Speak to people in another language. So hopefully Maya knows.
The fireman around in the corner behind the wall.
Oh, that was the air conditioning unit kicking in or something.
The air conditioner is quieter than the fire personnel.
6 o'clock, meeting will come to order, please. First order of business, public comment. Anybody who wants to speak, raise your hand. I'll recognize you. 3 minutes on the podium, name and address, and speak to the chair. Well, a lively group we have tonight. Let's move forward. First order of business, Mr. Marsh.
This is my associate, Paul McKinney. We're Municipal Resources, your contracted assessing agents. Paul handles the revaluation part of it. I do the review of it. So I'll have him go over that type of stuff, and then I've got a little bit of additional information for you.
Thank you.
All right, so it looks like the overall values increased by 47%. The residential properties went up approximately 50%. The condominiums went up 45%. Vacant land went up 64%. Mobile homes went up 88%. And the commercial industrial went up 43%. So the overall, if I look at 2 years of sales from April 1st of 24 through March 31st of 26, I'm coming in with a assessment rate, a median assessment ratio of 101.2 with a 9.1 COD. The COD is the quality rating. We need to be below 15, I'm sorry. And then the price-related differential to make sure we're not over-assessing the low-end properties or under-assessing the high-end properties is 1.03. When I look at just 1 year, my median goes down to 100.7. My COD, or my coefficient of dispersion, goes down to 5.85, and the PRD goes down to exactly 1. So it's telling me that these sales are still increasing in value between the 2-year period and the 1-year period. So as part of the reevaluation, we visited all sale properties that occurred between that time frame, April 1st of 24 through March 31st. We tried to do interior inspections on as many properties as we could. If we did not, we knocked on the door. If there was no one home, we did send out a letter, and also with that letter, a sales questionnaire that they could return or enter their results online. Or they could set up an appointment for us to come out and look at the property. So we did get a few more entries, interior inspections, because of those letters. I also did a full field review of all the properties in town. So I went around, just drove by every house, every street that I could get into. The ones that were gated or whatever, of course I couldn't, but did the best I could. But we looked at everything to make sure everything was consistent. The neighborhoods, the grades on the housing and that sort of thing, the conditions. And that was done by an MRI supervisor. So preliminary values are expected to be mailed out following this board meeting, sometime hopefully this week, early next week. Hearings will be held beginning August 6th, and then taxpayers will have the opportunity to come in and discuss their values, or if they have a question about the reevaluation process. They'll have the opportunity to come in person, they can do a phone call, or they can do a Zoom meeting. So they'll have those 3 choices. And they can make calls through August 14th of 2026, which we'll have appointments up beyond that, of course, but everyone will have a chance until August 14th to call, I'm sorry. Yep. Any questions or anything that I can?
Is there a reason for the giant jump in the mobile home compared to everything else?
We've been seeing that typically in all the towns, unfortunately. It's the low entry point into the real estate market. So unfortunately, what used to sell for 30, 40, 50,000 and now selling for 89 or 100,000 or more. We just strictly go on, what the sales from that 2-year period tells us. And as I said, we've been finding this in other towns as well, not only here.
Is the phenomenon of investors buying mobile home parks influencing that jump?
Not so much the mobile home, investors aren't buying the mobile homes, I don't think. I don't think we've had any mobile home park sales here in the last couple of years that I know of. Everything's, currently, it's owned by the people that own
We've had some
it.
management company swaps, but.
Yeah, I don't think we've had any actual sales.
And you're basing your analysis entirely on sales that took place in Lee alone? with no
Yes,
comparison to other-
absolutely, yes, sir.
Okay.
We do anticipate that, the tax rate, that's one thing I think we want to stress to the public, not to use these values times the current tax rate, because the tax rate will be adjusted accordingly. So, we don't know what that's gonna be until late fall, but it has to be adjusted based on the increase in the value. I mean, the taxable value is going up $359 million from where it was, so. It
So
was
that-
around 750, it's going up to 1.1 billion.
So why do you only account for, like, if I'm someone who's looking for a mobile home to purchase, it seems to me vanishingly unlikely that I'm gonna be like, well, it has to be in this specific town. And it's the case for any home purchase, right? You might put on offers in Lee and Barrington and Nottingham and
Yep.
Epping and Newmarket, right? And that seems like that's how the real estate industry, that's how the prices are set, right? It's like Lee really is one part of a larger marketplace. So what's the rationale for just looking at Lee?
Because we need to establish the values, the current market value for the town, for this town of Lee.
Right.
So I can't go outside. I mean, Durham may be different than Dover, of course, based on the tax rates there or the desirability there. I don't do Dover, but I did Durham a few years ago. There isn't, I don't think there are any mobile home parks in Durham.
Right.
Epping's, we did Epping last year, those values went up over 100%.
Right. But what I'm getting at is, if you were, and there has been sort of news coverage
Yeah.
of the interest of investors, private equity in mobile home parks that I can point to. If you were such an investor, you wouldn't be like, I'm looking at Lee, New Hampshire alone, So the price increase, even though we haven't had any mobile home park sales,
Yeah.
would still be influenced by the broader marketplace associated with mobile home park sales in the region. Maybe not just even in southern New Hampshire, but northern Massachusetts and southeast Maine. Is that the case?
Yeah, I mean, if you were doing a fee appraisal, that you, like a bank would use or an attorney or whatever, then you could usually go outside of the town. But because of, we're just doing a revaluation for the town of Lee, I kind of have to stick within that
It's
category.
state RSA's
Yeah.
prescribes that they have
Yeah.
to stick with it.
I mean, I certainly look at other mobile home park sales to set those values, or to help with those values,
Okay.
to get like a per lot basis or whatever, and compare it to what we have here. But if I don't have any sales, I mean, I don't have the information, I guess, to put into my analysis.
And
My
are those-
database just encompasses Lee.
And are those is it the case for the mobile home parks in Lee that the mobile home itself is owned by the homeowner, but not the land under it?
That's correct.
Yes, that's correct.
And so the land, the people who pay the taxes for the land,
Yep.
then build that into the rent, which the mobile home owner pays to the park. And then they're also responsible for another tax bill for the mobile home itself?
Yes.
Just the mobile home, yes.
Okay,
And that's based on, mobile homes that are rented, not ones that are owned by the, park owners, of course.
right,
The, just lost my train of thought here. The mobile home parks are valued like on a per lot basis, based on the number of sites and stuff they have. And it's based on an income approach. So we did send out income and expense questionnaires to all the commercial property owners. They had the opportunity to send us back their income and expenses based on their real estate, not on the products or services that they supply. We didn't get very many of those back, because, there's no law that says you have to return them, unfortunately, in New Hampshire, so we get a few back. Otherwise, we look at market conditions based on, the different, the information that's out there, basically, on commercial property.
right.
It's the same on the campgrounds that we have in town too. We have a number of campgrounds where people have seasonal sites. They own a camper that's been taken off its wheelbase and on that site, and the campground is taxed based on the number of lots they have, and the individual owners that aren't just up for the week or up for the weekend pay a tax on their recreational vehicle if it's permanently installed there.
Right. All right, I'm just pushing on this because it seems to me that we're gonna be like raising taxes on the people in town who can the least afford to pay. And to the tune of, so if the average increase is like 47% and it's 88%, that's like almost double.
Right.
And then the school budget also increased. So those people's, bills might conceivably go up by, 100%. And that seems like something we might want to get ahead of if there's any possible avenue for doing that. I know that, like, we're looking at the market, right? It's your job to look at, like, well, what's the real sale price, but like,
You had updated your elderly exemption amounts, you had increased those recently.
right,
To help offset those low-income individuals that meet those guidelines.
right,
That's something you could look at in the future, again, once you see what happens with the actual tax rate as well.
right,
But the town did try to take a proactive approach and made an adjustment this time
Yeah.
ahead of time. Last revale, I think it was after the fact, we ended up doing it. So at this time here, you have made an attempt to, help offset those people that truly do need those type of things as well.
right,
Yeah, the mobile home park thing that you're talking about, yeah, most of them get bought up by the tenants. That's in New Hampshire, they get the right of first refusal once there's a rate.
Okay.
Most of yours are, I think, not of the size that most investors are looking for. Like the one over in Exeter, that was, 200 sites, they paid astronomical amount of money.
yeah,
There's one in Salem that just recently went, and now they've taken the $375 rent and gone to $675, because they gotta cover their cost, but they spent $4 million, it was about $75,000 per site they paid
yeah,
on those. So that's stuff we do take a look at, but again, the market is what it is. We're not allowed to do something different, so we look at all the best information and try to make our appropriate adjustments. We will get some more probably income and expense information once these notices go out, because they'll say, they don't want to give it to us ahead of time. They
Right.
want to see what number we come up with, and then they'll bring it in and say, you guys are too high. Because they're afraid if they give it to us, we'll make them higher than what they thought we should be at, and things
yeah.
like that as
I,
well.
I,
So-
you're doing the math, and the underlying sort of system, which is in the RSA, is kind of what is ultimately causing this, so I'm not trying to accuse you of anything untoward, but
No, we
just
understand.
to bring it up on the record to say, like, if there's any other, let's review the options for blunting that impact on those folks, because I think it's gonna come as a nasty surprise for them.
Sure. Yeah, if I may, Paul did his analysis. I look at slightly different analysis, which the state uses. They go from October to September timeframe. I'm looking since October till now, if we look at the 38 sales, we're at 100%. If you didn't do the reval, you'd be at 62% ratio. Mobile homes would have been in the 40% range, because again, those values have gone so high. It's only a $40,000 increase, but on a $40,000 mobile home that's now selling for 80, that's a 100% increase in value. Whereas a $40,000 increase on a $500,000 house is, less than a 10% adjustment. That's really why you're seeing the difference in those ratios as much, but what your point about, them going up more than the average, they're definitely going to see an impact on, when the revaluation gets all completed. We will come back to you guys after we're done with the hearings and give you all the final information as well. Tonight, we're just looking for authorization to go ahead and send out the letters to everybody to start the process of having the informal hearings. So,
I have a question along kind of the same line. These increases are pretty high, but they're across other towns as well.
yeah, actually, yours is kind of in the lower range than what I've seen, yeah.
I just
Salem,
wondering
yes.
where we kind of fit, because what if people just want to live in Lee?
Well, it is a desirable community, it is, and again, there's not a lot of properties for sale on the market. I mean, I think right now there's like 9, so there's not a lot of inventory, so that's what's driving some of the prices too nowadays. There's such a lack of inventory and there's such a huge demand for nice communities that those are the ones that tend to see the increases that go up. But town of Salem, we're in that same ballpark, around 50% is what we're seeing down there for the residential as well. I believe in Epping, we were in the 60% range, so we might be, but that was a year ago. It has slowed down a little bit since then, but everything seems to be in this ballpark that we've been seeing over the last couple of years.
Any other comments?
I would love to, I'm not able to access the agenda with the attachments. If you go on the website, I don't know if it's just something on my computer, but
I got them earlier.
yeah.
Can you tell them?
I think maybe I'm just not, yeah, I don't know. I'm clicking on the website and that's what I'm getting. Maybe it's because I have a VPN on, I'll check. It'd be great to know specifically the list of RSAs that cover this process.
Sure.
Just so I can look it up and, do it.
Yeah, we can send that information over.
Thank you.
No problem.
And I think you have sent me some explanatory information that I think was gonna go out in some of the mailings as well,
Correct.
so I can send that to you as well, Matt.
Okay.
See any problem with them sending out the notice?
No.
All right, let's move forward on that.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Nice evening.
Library?
The agenda at 18 Bell Farm Road. In your packets, you should have received the select board meeting agenda request for the library. And there's just a small revision to it. If you go into the box at the bottom, the move to grant the library permission to expend $7,040, the first one. That is incorrect because, as was brought to my attention today, the $6,800, which is the funds that is in that capital reserve fund, has already been voted on by the public to expend. The second one is the one that we need to have the permission to expend, which is the Lee Library Building Capital Reserve Fund. And the total in there right now is $62,627.17. And we would like the authorization to spend the entire amount on the list to go.
Comments?
Any questions?
Pat?
Not at this time.
Okay. Therefore, I move to grant the library trustees permission to expend $62,627.17 out of Lee Library Capital Reserve Fund for construction of the new library vestibule. Do I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Good luck on the vestibule. Steve?
Question?
Please, go ahead.
So,
Well-
John Tappan, Chair, Trustees of Trust Funds. In what you read, I think you missed the word building.
Yes.
So is that what carries, or is it the text? Because the text says Lee Library Building.
Building
Reserve
Capital
Fund.
Reserve Fund.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
it's important that that is the,
The one that you are the agents to expend from.
yes.
Just need the building.
And I would thank Mr. Tappan for pointing out the fact that
The other
Article
one.
22
Yes, that was a
had
good
already
one.
been passed.
It's good to have those extra eyes. Steve?
So before I do this, I got a phone call or a text Friday. The water sample from the well at the library came back 100% clean.
Very good.
So there's no arsenic, no manganese, no anything in it, so we shouldn't have to filter as much out as we originally thought.
We should probably start trying to sell water from that well
Yeah.
to the neighboring properties, all of which have significant quantities of that.
What it means to be from Lee.
Yeah, I told you, people want to go to Lee.
And then during my budget presentation and a couple other times previously, I got the feeling the board kind of wanted to look into burning waste oil at the highway department to try to save some money. So I did my due diligence, got a price, and that's what's before you. If you want to do it, great. If you don't, if you want to think about it, they have it in stock, and it's not like it's winter time, so you have time to think about it, but I was just trying to do my due diligence, present you with an option.
So how much waste oil do we gather?
More than this is gonna burn.
More than that'll burn.
Along with the one in the transfer station. Yeah, we'll still have to give some away. Eventually, I'd like to get another one. This is a different brand than the one you approved last fall. It's skinnier and longer, so it'll fit better, because we're packing a lot of stuff into a small space. So this one's like 18 by 24 and 6 feet long, so it's really long and skinny compared to the other one. So it'll fit against the back wall better.
Do you get the waste oil for free?
Yeah, the residents bring it into the transfer station.
Okay.
So in reality, this should pay for itself in 2 years
That's
of
what
not burning
Not burning.
home heating oil.
Yeah.
you said it's going into the highway department?
The back building.
Okay, so the budget amount that we had proposed for that was 8,000. Should it take care of all of that or most of
Should
it?
cut it in half,
Cut it in
at
half.
least.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's a great idea. I think we should move forward with it. I mean, it's an opportunity, we've got plenty coming in. We're giving it away at this point. Might as well take advantage and burn it.
And then to be clear, the one that we have in the transfer station, did that replace oil, diesel version?
It replaced a waste oil furnace that was already there that was over 20 years old that
Oh, okay.
had the heat exchanger cracked. They burn like a gallon an hour when they run,
Mhm.
so that's the biggest problem is in the transfer station, it can run 24/7 and we still won't burn it all.
And is there like you just need the furnace itself and then the exhaust? There's no like pump that you need to?
So this price includes the tank with the stand, so it's up in the air, the pump, the air compressor, everything. This
Okay.
is,
And
and
the
this is
filter
the-
is in there?
yep, and this is the chimney too. So this is everything.
Okay. Installed, or you're gonna install?
We'll install it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, 2-year payback is pretty good.
I don't think there was
Oh,
oh,
sorry.
Therefore, I move to authorize the Public Works Director to purchase an Energy Logic 200H waste oil furnace for the Highway Department from Aero Equipment for amount not to exceed $14,000. Funds to come from the Town Building Capital Reserve Fund.
Second?
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Steve?
Town Administrator?
Yes, coming from our last meeting, I did discuss overtime policy changes with the department heads that have overtime budgets and have employees that frequently use overtime. I put a memo in the agenda packet for the board to see. Essentially, the police chief is fine with the present policy, it works well with his department. The fire chief is not in favor of any changes to his overtime policy. In fact, feels that if we went to a standardized overtime policy that is not as specialized and uniquely tailored to the fire department, that we could end up spending more in overtime. The DPW director thinks that the present DPW policy is essential for the highway department, particularly in the winter. So after discussing this with the department heads, I can pretty confidently say that none of them are particularly interested in changing the overtime policy.
So what I'm getting from your memo primarily is that the biggest thing differentiating the different municipal policies is whether there's a union.
Right, and that's the fire department overtime policy is, we don't have a union here, but their policy is basically lifted from a collective bargaining agreement that is commonly shared among larger towns in the area.
Okay.
What is the current policy for the town? I was just looking at last time's agenda where you had the policies all written in there, and I don't see that one in here.
Didn't come with this package, did it?
No, I'm looking at last week's
It's
agenda.
the old one, non-fire EMT or DPW overtime policy.
It's that one, okay.
Yep.
So that's the town hall, sorry, thank you.
And the primary difference between police and the standard town policy is that they have to exceed 86 hours in their pay period, as opposed to 80.
You want time to sit on this a little bit longer?
Sure.
I didn't spend much time on the office overtime policy, just because we basically cut the overtime from
Yeah,
any
of
of the
course.
business in the town
It's
office.
gone.
The next thing I had was a motion to approve payment of $8,731.25 out of the revaluation capital reserve fund for the, I think is this the last payment?
I have no idea. I just keep.
Just keep rolling in, doesn't it? I guess we gotta continue reevaluation, don't we? What else can we do? There, I move to authorize the withdrawal of amount not to exceed $8,731.25 from the reevaluation capital reserve fund in order to pay Municipal Resources Incorporated for the 5th installment due towards the 2026 statistical reevaluation of the town per the contract. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye, motion carries, thank you.
Okay. Item number C is the nation's 250th committee. This was the only encumbrance that I had legitimate paperwork for from the fiscal year 26 budget. They had a contract for a band and for use of Flag Hill and for food well in advance of the end of the year, and they made a small deposit, but the bulk of the costs would have come from that $15,000 that was in the budget for various activities for the 250th birthday.
Okay, I have a couple of questions about this. One, have you found the money that Scott keeps asking about that wasn't transferred and he can't find?
The last conversation I had with Scott was regarding the $15,000 in the budget. The $15,000 has been in the budget. The big concern is, and it's going away, there was just sort of a general assumption that the Heritage Commission budget, whatever wasn't expended, rolled over into a Heritage Commission fund at year's end.
Okay.
I've been advised by DRA and legal counsel that Lee does not have record of creating, not only does Lee not have record of creating a specific Heritage Commission fund, they also have never passed the warrant article authorizing the remainder of that money to roll.
Is this just the Heritage Commission or is it all
It's the
commissions?
Heritage Commission and the Conservation Commission primarily.
Is there anybody whose money does roll over?
No.
Nobody's.
And DRA has advised that there should be a warrant article every year if the Heritage Commission and the Conservation Commission wish to roll any proceeds. And that's certainly allowable and in fact advisable, but it's never been done in the past. And I think where The problem came when the former finance director retired and MRI came on board. MRI picked up on this right away. I talked with the former chair of the Conservation Commission. I've talked to Mr. Bugby. I have clear-cut instruction in writing saying, do not roll this money, it is not legal. But these expenses, the contracts that I attached were well in advance of the close of the year, so they could be encumbered if the board chooses to.
Okay, then my second question, I thought they had taken the gala out of my requesting this. I thought that the ticket prices were supposed to pay for it.
I believe the ticket prices are going to come back, but they have to lay some money out
Are
up
the
front.
the ticket money coming back to the town?
I would make the case that that should come back as revenue to the town, yes,
Okay.
to offset the expenditure.
So is he just looking for a deposit now?
No, we've already made the deposits out of the
Okay.
budget. We had to make, I believe it was a $750 deposit for the facility and $75 or $100 deposit for the musical entertainment, and these were the remaining amounts that were to be billed the evening of the gala.
You have a motion?
Yes.
You sitting on those things? Like they're gold or something? Oh, God.
Denise didn't poke me.
Any other questions from the board on this issue?
Do we know, I'm still not clear, like, when was this contract executed?
I believe in February or March.
Okay, so before I was here.
Yeah, the Freeze band was a little bit later, but still well in advance of the year end.
Should be the next page.
Yeah,
Yeah, the contract date on the Flag Hill one, I'm sorry, is May 15th.
Just don't remember hearing about this.
Well, May 15th, 2025.
That's right.
Yeah, a little bit before you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we just got done talking about like the incredible tax increase that mobile home residents are gonna be paying, and now we're like talking about a gala, just it's a little gross. But since the contract's been executed already, I suppose there's not much to be done.
Well, everybody's paying to go, right?
Is there, what are the chances that the ticket sales won't cover the cost?
That I don't know. I don't know what number of tickets they've sold presently.
Okay.
I don't think we have a lot of choice in this. Its contracts have been signed.
Yeah.
Therefore, I move to encumber $4,325 from the FY '26 budget to cover the cost of the League Nations 250th Committee's 250th Gala event taking place at the Flag Hill Winery in Lee on Friday, August 7th, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion on this item? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Very enthusiastic, thank you.
Revised welfare policy. Okay, so they can't sign it until next meeting then? Yeah.
What changed?
Yeah.
For the highlighted sections. but I
Yeah,
didn't see.
under the revised draft general assistance policy, the new welfare director notified me of some changes that have been made in state RSA regarding welfare definitions and guidelines, and said that it was really important that we get those into our welfare policy as soon as possible. So we have redone the policy and included her recommendations. It was basically legal language from the state with regard to definitions, and I,
Yeah, I saw some things are crossed out and other things are bold. Yeah.
right,
Oh, so it's anything in bold is what changed? I was looking for.
yes.
Yeah,
I'm
in
missing,
bold.
yes.
Yep.
Okay.
And if the board is okay with that policy, I will finalize it and bring it back for your signatures. The changes made and that.
I read through it,
Yeah.
I saw the bold, what was crossed out. But we can wait till next time, obviously. If you have any comments, just bring them forward to the town administrator.
I think it's pretty straightforward. It was pretty much legal as prescribed by state
Legalities.
law change, so.
And nothing was changed except for language that is quoted from RSA's. We didn't, there's no
No,
other,
we didn't ad lib or add
okay. All right, well,
anything creative.
that's just needs to be the, do sort of housekeeping.
Exactly. Anything else, Randy?
I do not have anything else this time.
Consent agenda, anybody want to pull anything? Therefore, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Do you want to pass these down? Just that's your signature there.
Sure, Agent.
I
appreciate that.
Looking for him.
Yeah, well, we're going to need to take the corrections out anyway, the illustrations, the bold and the strike throughs.
No, that's in the statute.
Oh,
It's actually in the statute.
yeah, bring it next time.
I want to take this.
Yeah, figured I let Denise do
Where's the?
that.
Yeah, sign your phone.
It's just
That's the
double sided.
application. What is this? This is
Those are the different ones. That's intended that wood
Oh, okay.
versus a tax thing.
Old business? other business, we're gonna go into non-public, move to enter into non-public session, New Hampshire RSA 91-A:3(2). Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, Matt?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
John? Yes.
I'll just sit on the ground, John.
Good.
I'll pour ashes on my head.
Oh, I just have a bad back.
Did you do the thing?
Yeah, I think I said it.
I was still on and get all her pumpkins and like how much their seat and it's not there. And I'm like,
That's my seat.
Let's do something. No.
Therefore, I move to seal the non-public session minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, Pat?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes.
John, yes. Seal. What's on the docket for next meeting?
I will bring you some candidates.
And
The revised.
revised, that's what it is.
Guidelines.
Yes, the revised guidelines.
Hopefully no big surprises. I'll also have a final, I should have a final budget number for you then. Right now, it looks like we finished the year with about $83,000 surplus. That is not the case, because when the auditors get here, they're going to take a little over 70 of that, probably close to 80 of that, and back it into fiscal year going after they review the payroll, because the payroll
Yep.
period overlaps.
So we cut that one to the line, huh?
We are going to be very, very close to. Which is what we intended. We did do a little bit of stocking up and then put the brakes on that. Because I think people's idea of stocking up started to run away, so.
Do you want to bring us an ad, just in case we need it, so we can approve
Yep,
it next
I
meeting?
absolutely will. I have, from the former almost retirement, I still have the, and I put those together with municipal resources as, under their guidance, so.
Sounds good. Anything else with the board?
Not for me.
Yeah. Nope. Move to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.